Here's a preview of what you'll hear on this episode of Beyond the Wheel.
We have over 1,000 hours on the computer just designing the shell shape. Wow. And that has to do with its one-piece monocoque construction. So that has to do with the tooling that it's built out of, the draft angles, how that tool releases. It made it a lot more complex. It would have been much simpler to build a square box, but we wanted to put geometry or shape in every panel of every side of the vehicle, which is increases the difficulty, but it really makes something look beautiful.
Now enjoy the show.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries. Battleborn batteries are the best name in the RV and marine industry. These batteries are designed to replace your existing lead-acid batteries. They come in a variety of dimensions and amp-hour capacities. This ensures there's a Battleborn battery that is right for your needs. These batteries are backed by a 10-year warranty, allowing you to get out there and stay out there. The best solution for your battery anxiety.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn batteries keep you out there longer.
With the complexity of all the systems in an RV, I always say it's not if something's going to break, but a matter of when is something going to break. That is why I think an extended warranty for RVs is so important. We first interviewed wholesale warranties back in 2019 and immediately became impressed with how their policies worked, such as you can take your RV to any licensed repair shop, including mobile repairs. They also have personalized service plans, making sure you are getting the right policy for your needs. And if you think your RV is too old for a policy, you might be surprised to hear that RVs up to 20 years old can still be approved for a policy. That is more age lenient than most RV parks I've stayed at. Go to wholesalewarranties.com/Beyond the Wheel or click the link down below in our show notes to get your free quote today.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. Today we got a really cool episode for you. So not too long ago I was at Overland West and I walked past these guys, Nico and Matt from Truckhouse, and I saw the vehicle that they were building, and it really caught my eye that this almost looked like it was all one-piece design. I would call it a truck camper. Other people probably wouldn't call it a truck camper. It's built on a Toyota Tacoma, but we're going to have these guys on the show, and they're going to tell us exactly what it is because I'm definitely not the authority on this. So I'd just like to introduce Matt and Nico. If you guys could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Truckhouse.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here. It's cool. And my name's Nico. I'm the COO and co-founder of Truckhouse. We are a custom camper business that designs and manufactures these one-piece expedition vehicles here in Sparks, Nevada. I met Matt about 7 or 8 years ago and kind of kicked the idea off through a build that he did on his own in his free time. He actually remodeled a 1987 Toyota Sunraider. And so it was one of the original Toyota 4x4 motorhomes that really kicked off the idea to build a modern, small footprint expedition vehicle.
Yeah, and I'm Matt. I'm a co-founder with Nico, and I'm the CEO of Truckhouse. Like Nico was saying, we build one-piece carbon fiber expedition vehicles. We wear a lot of hats currently as a small company, so as a CEO, I'm doing a lot of the building with my hands. Nico does a lot of building as well as runs all of our numbers and basically handles all the logistics to keep the company rolling. So we have many jobs with one job title, I guess.
Many hats, yeah.
Many hats, yeah.
So how long has Truckhouse actually been a company?
Yeah, so we got started through a business plan competition at the University of Nevada. It's called the Sontag Entrepreneurship Contest. And we entered the contest kind of to motivate us to put some words on paper and kind of move forward with the idea. And as the rounds progressed, we met a lot of great people, and we ended up winning a grant in the spring of 2019. Matt and I were able to quit our other jobs in the fall of 2019 and start design work. And then the company became public facing in January of 2021.
Oh, okay.
So we did about a year and a half, 2 years of design on the prototype vehicle before we kind of launched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always like to ask design time too. So a couple years, that's...
Yeah, we spent about, at the beginning it's just Matt and I, and we spent about 6 months on the computer designing, really making the camper shell fit the truck appropriately. One of our big goals was to make it look like it was OEM. And so all the body lines matched, the fender flares. We did a lot of cool design cues in the shell itself to make it look like it belongs.
And what made you choose a Toyota Tacoma?
We chose that really for its overall footprint. So like Nico was saying, I built a 1987 Toyota Sunraider, fully rebuilt that at a shipyard that my family owns. So grew up working on yachts and ferries, used that shipyard to rebuild this Sunraider. We fell in love with it. It's a really iconic little motorhome. And the coolest thing about it was its small footprint and its 4x4 capability. So using that kind of as our base, we wanted to start with a small truck to keep the overall footprint small. Essentially, it's the cab height that dictates how tall the vehicle is going to be when you're running a cab over. So by starting with a truck with a lower cab height, we're able to have a lower overall height. We really wanted to be in that ballpark of a Sprinter van height. We like to, off-road in the Sierra, and there's a lot of trees, so we wanted to be sub 10 feet tall.
Okay.
And that was really one of the design criteria that we focused on.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now that you say, off-roading and tree height
Yeah.
Yep.
and stuff. Yeah, that you want to keep that low so you don't end up ripping it off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep it low, and you can still park in a normal parking space and go to the grocery store, go to the gas station, as well as get down the trails.
Okay.
So that Sunraider that you built, was that the inspiration for the company? Were people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, where did you get this? And then I guess they found out that you built it, and then were they asking for it?
Yeah, I mean, even Nico did. So,
Okay.
Nico was a water ski instructor while he was in school, and I was a marine mechanic across the street up in Tahoe. We became friends there, and for 2 years, I talked to him about this 4x4 camper I was building. And he, everyone, it was a running joke in Tahoe. Well, where is it? I was like, well, it's in Sausalito. I'm working on it. I put like over 2,000 hours into the thing, rebuilt the whole thing. I mean, it is pristine. It's all modern. It's brand new, essentially. When I finally brought it up here, Nico's like, I need one. And I was like, well, I'm not going to build any more on an 87 pickup because working on something old, it takes too long. The rust repair, the paint,
Yeah.
And I was like, if we're going to do one, we should just build one from scratch, brand new. And that kind of got the bug rolling, the ball rolling in his head, and we kind of went from there.
I was going to ask you, how important was it to have these clean lines? So like when I saw it at the show, and it looks like it came from the factory on this Toyota Tacoma. It doesn't look like something was added to it. How important were those clean lines and that one-piece design?
Extremely important.
Yeah.
We have over 1,000 hours on the computer just designing the shell shape.
Wow.
And that has to do with its one-piece monocoque construction. So that has to do with the tooling that it's built out of, the draft angles, how that tool releases. It made it a lot more complex. It would have been much simpler to build a square box, but we wanted to put geometry or shape in every panel of every side of the vehicle, which is increases the difficulty, but it really makes something look beautiful.
Yeah.
So did you guys have to do custom tooling?
Oh
We
yeah.
did,
And then, so you built that stuff yourself as well?
We worked with a partner on the
Okay.
actual building of the tools, and then we did all the surface finishing and the construction of the frames in-house.
Okay.
And so, and like I was saying, it was just Matt and I at the beginning, so we have a lot of hours sanding. And
Yeah.
that's just it,
I think we have 400 hours sanding and polishing our tools, and then another 100 hours doing 800 feet of box tubing to build the steel frames.
Wow. So what's the difference? What would you classify the difference between your vehicle and like people have like overland expedition type vehicles? Are they kind of the same?
I'd put us in the same category for sure. One of the biggest things for us is it is on a 4x4 pickup truck to begin with, and then we do a full custom chassis, custom suspension, new axle, new brakes. By the time it leaves our shop, it's no longer a Toyota Tacoma. We actually do all the upfitting to make it suit the application. And so for us, it's about getting further off the beaten path. A lot of the RVs you can maybe buy on a lot don't have the off-road capability, and they're just not built for that.
Yeah.
And so for us, that's been one of the requirements since the beginning, is to be able to go out on a trail and stay out, stay off grid. It's solar and has 540 amp hours lithium in it, and actually no propane, no generator. And so it's really, really built to get out there and stay out there.
No propane and no generator
No.
built
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, that was another big design criteria for us. If these vehicles are capable of world travel, we didn't want to be searching for propane in a foreign country. Also, with my experience in the Sunraider, I had a propane furnace, and we're big winter guys, big skiers, and it created like kind of a moisture heat, and it's just one more fuel source that you're searching for before you can go camping. With the Battleborn batteries we have, it's all you really need, and then we run a hydronic heat system.
Okay.
So it burns gasoline from the large fuel tank we add to the vehicle, and then it heat exchanges for coolant and pumps coolant into the rig, and then heat exchanges for hot air and hot water.
Okay.
And then we do 24-volt heated floors as well. And the batteries are powerful enough to run a Bosch convection oven, induction cooktop, 12-volt AC system. And then we do a larger alternator under the hood, so 270 amp alternator under the hood. So if you do find yourself camping for a long period of time with no sun, so the solar array can't recharge the batteries, you're able to start the truck, and it essentially acts as a generator.
Oh, nice. So you said that you even change out the fuel tank. So when this is done, it truly isn't a Tacoma anymore. As far as how does that work with registration? Do you guys, after you're done the build, it gets re-registered as a Truckhouse?
And so it's registered as a custom vehicle and then insured as a custom vehicle as well.
Okay.
And we work with the customers on that. And basically, we do all the aftermarket modifications, like I was saying, to suit the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then your model is called a BCT?
Yeah.
What does that stand for something?
So
Does it stand for something that you're allowed to say?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it's a kind of an Easter egg. We treat it like an Easter egg, so you gotta buy one to learn.
Okay.
It's not like too coarse for radio or anything, but it's just a little Easter egg we kind of like to keep close to our chest.
Oh, that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
To keep that. Yeah, that's nice. And so you said what materials do you use in the shell of the construction?
Yeah, so it's a full composite sandwich construction shell,
Okay.
single piece, various materials in there, a lot of carbon fiber. That was important for us to make it extremely light, extremely strong. And so we are using the smaller platform, so weight's a huge contributing factor to the overall build. And so we're using the best materials, and we actually use a process called vacuum infusion, which was invented in the aerospace industry, and it's being used more and more in the marine industry as well.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about weight control because a Toyota Tacoma probably doesn't have a huge weight capacity as it comes off the line at the factory.
Yeah, exactly.
So you must have to do, lightweight construction on the shell, and then
Yep.
you must have to beef up what's already on the chassis then.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fully reinforced chassis, full custom 1-ton rear axle. We do new brakes, new suspension. It gets re-geared, retuned. It's basically it's a 1-ton Tacoma when we're done with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Kenny when we were prepping for talking to you guys, I was like, how do they do it? There's no way that this frame, as it rolls off the line, can handle all this stuff.
It can't. It can't. Before it gets to us, it can't.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of custom work,
So I
a
can
lot
see
of a lot of engineering.
Yeah, a lot of engineering, a lot of hours on the computer, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm curious then, why the Tacoma? Is it just based off of the Toyotas having their, bulletproof, they kind of they have this reputation that you can't kill them? Is that why the Tacoma, the Toyota?
That's definitely a contributing factor. We knew we wanted to differentiate ourselves by being on a compact truck, a smaller truck. We're both Toyota guys. We've owned various Toyotas, and they have that characteristic of being bulletproof. And it's also the number one selling compact truck, and it has a lot of aftermarket support. So there's a lot of add-ons and stuff that like the front bumper we don't build because someone builds a good one, and stuff like that.
Oh, so you can go to the aftermarket to help supplement
Some of the parts.
some of your parts that you're putting on in the build.
That's smart.
Yep.
Okay. Do you do any changes to like the inside of the cab? Or is it
Yes.
the cab stays?
So the driver and the passenger seat stay the same from the factory, and kind of your driving cockpit. We actually do full custom rear captain's chairs because there's a pass-through back to the camper. And so we take the factory bench seat and we actually modify it to have 2 individual captain's chairs. And so you can pass in and out through the cab.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the sleeping capacity for
It's
your
a full queen size bed in the cab over.
Okay.
And then it's just under a full size bed in the rear dinette. So you can sleep 4 adults.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's 4 seat belts in the cab as well.
In a compact truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you guys put that pass-through in there, because I know for me, so I'm a Class A guy, but one of the great things about Class A is being able to get out of the driver's seat, head right in the back. So you're in inclement weather or anything like that. You don't really need to go out into the weather if you just wanted to grab something out of the back. Is that something that was based off of what you guys wanted, or was that customer feedback?
The Sunraider I built had a pass-through.
Did?
I really liked it for the same thing. Bad weather when I was skiing, I'd be able to climb in the back, put my boots on without going outside. I also have a big mountain dog. It was nice for the mountain dog to be in the back of the rig. That was a double cab or a single cab, so it only had 2 seats, so it was really nice to have the pass-through. We thought it was a important addition to the build, and my girlfriend likes to remind me all the time that if she was out using the vehicle out in the woods by herself, if someone knocked on the door at 3 a.m., she wouldn't have to necessarily introduce herself.
Yeah.
She could climb into the truck and drive away.
That's smart.
And something I didn't think about initially, but it is a nice feature.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but when you guys were coming up with this design, did you make a list of all the components or qualities you wanted that vehicle to have and then design to those, or did you come up with new things as you were working through the design?
I think it was a healthy mix of both. We have spreadsheets and spreadsheets of components and things that Matt used in his build that we wanted to change. And one of the biggest things for us, we made the actual cabin 10 to 15% larger than his original Sunraider. That was more just for livability. We also changed, to some more modern components that he had access to, because he started working on his 7-8 years ago, and a lot of stuff has developed here in the last 4 or 5 years actually in kind of this overland space. And so we had kind of big bullet points we were following, and then we filled in the gaps with all the components as we designed.
And have you changed the design at all since you've put them into production, like based on feedback from owners or anything like that?
A few tweaks here and there, no major reconstruction.
Okay.
Just little things really, and most of it's been in the manufacturing side. We're just doing things differently just to make it more efficient to build these.
Okay.
And when we built our prototype, we didn't have any CNC machines in-house. Now we have a big CNC router, so we're able to add some more detail and more aesthetic functions to the vehicle. That doesn't really change much except for the look and the feel.
So all of your tooling and manufacturing capability, you guys are doing at your shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do not do the final automotive paint on the shell because we don't have a spray booth big enough, but we build the full shell, and then a partner of ours paints them down in Carson City. But yeah, everything else we build in-house.
So somebody, let's say I say, oh, I love it, I want one. What's a consumer's first step to getting in the door at your guys' place?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm gonna take your number down. But first thing would be to reach out to our sales team, and all the information is listed on our website, and start a conversation there. We have different stages you can do to the build to kind of customize it.
Oh, okay.
And so we can give you a build sheet and kind of look at what exactly you're interested in. And all our vehicles are built to order. Orders are on pause right now, and we're going to open up in a few months, but our wait list is about over a year. And so get the conversation started, get your build sheet, and then it's a pretty long sales cycle just because we want to get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can opt for, let's say, I'm not a fan of heated floors. I could say, I don't want that in my build.
Yeah, that's in one of the severe weather stages. You can either add those or take those out, as well as the air conditioning too, and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we do each interior is kind of custom suited to the customer, so they get to choose interior color, flooring color. We do a custom CNC backsplash of any location or design you want, wood choice, just lots of to make it feel like a custom vehicle. So you get to choose how you want it to feel on the inside.
And can you match the factory Toyota paint on there, or do you change the whole thing?
All the shells match the factory paint.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
whatever truck in your build process, whatever truck you choose, the shell's going to be painted to match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys have thought of a lot.
Do you guys think that you would ever do a dealer stock? Is there any advantage of doing like a dealer stock, having some pre-made and people that could just come down and take a look and purchase?
I think, there's pros and cons to every kind of business strategy there. For us, we're so new and we're so small that we don't have the capital right now to pre-build anything. Gotcha. And I think down the road it is something we can explore.
But if you're a year out, you guys are doing great with this.
We're doing great.
Yeah. And maybe there's no reason to do dealer stock.
Yeah. And we've had our challenges with the supply chain just like everybody else. And we're a small team, and so we're working hard to get rigs out the front door.
Yeah. And trying to scale responsibly. I mean, we're happy that we consider ourselves still learning how to crawl as a business. We're not trying to kick so many rigs out the door that we're overwhelmed. We learn on each rig. We get better with each rig. And like Nico said, because of the supply chain, and we put a quick pause on sales because we don't want to outsell our supply chain. In the last year here, it's been pretty insane how much prices have increased on all the parts and goods we need to buy. So we didn't want to be locked in at prices 2.5 years from now when we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And do you guys, what's the oldest model year of Toyota Tacoma that you would do a build on?
Right now, we're only working on brand new vehicles.
Oh, brand new.
And so
Okay.
it says this year's 2022 Tacoma is what we're
So
working on.
they pick it up and get it to you guys,
Yeah,
and then you start the build.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why only the newest model year?
Yeah, for us, it's so we can stand behind our warranty.
Okay.
It's really hard to draw that line in the sand once you're working on a used vehicle.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Hypothetically, you bring us a truck with a hurt transmission. You don't know about it. We don't know about it. We do all this extensive work. You drive away 100 miles down the road. Something bad happens. You're calling us. It's our fault.
Yeah.
Whereas if we start with a vehicle that's only been touched by the factory, we know that we're the only other people to work on it.
So are people getting the vehicles delivered to like a local Toyota dealership, or are they picking them up where they live and driving them up to you guys?
We're right now exclusively working with our local dealership here in Reno.
Okay, okay.
And they've been super helpful with getting trucks coming, and luckily for us, we have a long enough lead time on the builds that we can kind of put our orders in
Okay.
and work with the dealership.
So you connect the customer with the local dealership
Yeah.
to do their
Do the transaction. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then does one of your team go over and pick it up, or they deliver it to you guys?
Kind of a mix of both. We've actually been fortunate to have a lot of local customers. Actually, they can physically come and see their new truck and then stop by the shop as well. So
Yeah,
that's
right
been cool.
before you rip it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes into surgery.
How long does a typical build take you guys? And then is there a lot of emails in between you and the customer as the build is going on?
Yeah, definitely. We try and communicate probably once every other week is kind of the schedule we're on right now, and just to keep them up to date. And a lot of it is, unfortunately, right now some delays and some parts, but we're busy enough. We kind of bounce around from build to build. Right now, it's about an 8-month turnaround from start to finish once we have things kind of in process. And there's so many different parts of the build that there's always somebody working on a truck. It's just not necessarily. It's not all at once. We kind of bounce around, like I was saying.
There'll be three to four rigs in the shop at one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are like crazy busy then. As far as marketing goes, like I saw you guys at Overland. I'm sure that's part of your marketing strategy. What
Yeah.
other types of marketing strategies have you guys been using? Have you been using like social media? Like you?
Yeah, social media for sure. That's kind of low-hanging fruit for us. We obviously grew up on our phones, and so
Okay.
we got a cool product, and people are fans of it, and so that's good for us, as well as just driving the vehicles around. They're our biggest billboard. Us going camping, getting it out there, and we get approached all the time at gas stations and stuff like that, and we're always happy to give somebody a quick tour or let them know what it is, because it's super unique.
And when we launched, we were pretty overwhelmed by the earned media we received. We didn't expect it to kind of blew up right away. It was all over the internet and Motor Trend and all sorts of pages, and our following grew so fast. It was definitely a little overwhelming to say the least, but it's turned into a good thing.
So what do you guys have? You guys built enough to kind of develop a typical customer profile? Like, what kind of person is interested in your vehicle?
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
Before this, I thought I kind of nailed down what our market would be,
Mhm.
and I've been surprised to kind of see some of our customers come through, which has been cool because it's a bit more diverse than I thought it would be.
Oh, that's great.
And it's really people who want to get further away from campgrounds.
Okay.
And that's all types of people, and kind of a bit on the older side, kind of retired or approaching retirement,
Oh, really?
but people want to travel.
Yeah.
Go see things.
And I think the unifying factor is they all love the outdoors and love the thought or the act of adventure. And so they see something that can help facilitate those two things, and that's the vehicle we build.
Going back to what's the guts of the vehicle again? do you guys have water capacity on there? And so you have fresh and gray water?
Yeah, it's 30 gallons of fresh, 20 gallons of gray, and then we do a 5-gallon cassette toilet.
Oh, okay.
And the motivation behind the cassette toilet is a lot of your standard RV dump stations are closed in the wintertime.
Yep.
And so the cassette makes it really convenient to use a rest stop or a gas station if you're on the road during the wintertime.
Yeah, and I've been reading a lot of reviews on different kinds of RV toilets. Don't ask me why.
No, it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
It's always a hot topic.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people have good things to say about the cassette toilets.
Yeah.
As far as cleanliness and usability, I guess.
Yeah.
They get good reviews.
They're very popular in Europe. They don't have quite the same dumping RV infrastructure as we do in the United States, so you see them a lot in Europe. And on my Sunraider, I did a composting toilet, which I loved some things and disliked others, and so we made the choice to go cassette toilet, and so far we like it. I wouldn't say that dealing with any human waste in any capacity is fun. I've never found one, at least in an RV, that I love. I've worked on some yachts that have incinerator toilets that are pretty incredible, but they're so power hungry that it'd be very hard to do in an RV.
You said you have a 12-volt AC. Is that the one that was, I think it's Australia? Is that where that one comes out of?
It's actually made here in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
It's a split unit, so we're able to keep the weight off the roof.
Okay.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. We've been hearing good things about 12-volt AC units too lately.
And that's one of the components that has come a long ways in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot more of them on the market.
And that's because of the battery capacity. So more energy dense, you can power, like we're able to run our AC all night with no generator, which is a pretty cool feature.
Yeah.
It's quieter. It's nicer. And, being off grid, you don't really want to be off grid listening to a generator. It doesn't quite feel like you're camping anymore.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite features of the BCT? Do each of you kind of love the same thing, or do you guys have features that are different from each other?
You go first.
I think my favorite overall feature is probably the layout. We were able to make a small space feel pretty big. We use double pane windows that actually open full safari style. And so when it's nice out, you can open all 3 rear windows, sit around the dinette. It feels like you're outside. And that's the whole point of camping is being close to nature. And so that's probably my favorite feature is the layout and the windows. Super bright. And it makes you feel like you're outside.
I'd say my favorite feature is the construction technique of the shell itself. The carbon fiber one-piece shell is a really hard thing to engineer and build. We kind of lost the wow factor because we built several of them now, but when the first one came out of the mold in our shop, it was pretty incredible. We kind of surprised ourselves we were able to pull it off, to be honest.
Yeah, I would think it would be pretty exciting to see it go from computer CAD drawings to
went from idea to napkin to computer and
to
see the
real
thing in front of you.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys cried.
We actually, when we first test fitted on the truck, we looked at it for about 2 hours and didn't say anything to each other. Like, do you like it? Do you like it? It looks pretty good. Kept walking around. Oh yeah, it's good. Wow, it fits really good. It just kept going. We kept walking around, but I think after we popped the first shell out of the mold, my dad, who I was saying has a shipyard in Sausalito, so has a lot of boat building experience, called me and said, "Wow, you built it from the air." And that kind of made me feel something. I was like, he's right, it was from nothing.
Yeah.
It was from rolls of carbon fiber cloth and drums of resin and turned into a physical thing. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that you guys did all the tooling yourselves. I mean, that's got to be one of the hardest parts is getting that right.
Yeah.
Because without that,
the scariest part by far.
Yeah.
You sign your life away when you commit to having the CNC cut that tooling, and if you miss any draft angle, which is basically the angle that helps a tool release, if you miss any of that, your part could be stuck in the mold and you could fail before you start. So it's one thing to build it, and then it was another thing to have it come out of the mold. And once it came out of the mold, we knew we succeeded, but it was a tense couple weeks there while we were building the first one.
Yeah. So if people were interested in seeing all the options and what you actually do to that Tacoma when you get it, what's the best way for people to see that process or learn that process?
Yeah, definitely. I think the easiest thing for people would be head to our website, which is truckhouse.co. And then from there, they can go to the BCT page, and that kind of lists out all the options. And then from that page, you can directly contact our sales team and either email or phone call, kind of talk through the build options.
Or just ask questions.
Just
We're
ask questions, just curious. Beyond that, we are going to Overland Expo Pacific Northwest up in Bend. That's the second weekend of July, I think July 10th. We'll be up there, and then we're also doing the Overland Adventure Van Expo in Lake Tahoe in September.
Oh, okay.
And so we do have a few more shows this summer, and if people want to come out and see in person, more than welcome.
And you bring a vehicle with you.
Yeah, we have a prototype vehicle that will be at both two shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you guys, how do you guys take orders? Is it strictly through your sales team, or like if somebody was at a show and was like, I want one?
Just because it's such an involved build process, it is strictly through our sales team.
Okay, that's what I would have suspected. Yeah, because it can get pretty tricky, I bet.
Yeah, and we just, like I was saying, we really just want the customer to be happy with the final product, and a lot of that is just kind of talking through the options because people want to use a rig for different things, and so we really want to nail it down for that certain application.
So in the next couple of years, you guys have the BCT right now. Are you thinking about? Are you allowed to say that you're thinking about different options, different floor plans?
So right now, for that model, we're locked in that floor plan just because that's the most efficient use of space for that shell. Beyond that, we are working on something new, and can't say too much, but we're always thinking, we're always tinkering, we're always moving too. So
yeah, we're back in the napkin sketch mode, like Nico said. So we're napkin sketching.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Sean just chimed in. Well, the truck will be at SEMA as well.
Oh,
which
very
is,
cool.
Yeah, in the Battleborn in the Battleborn booth.
Very cool.
Which is a dream come true for us and our whole team. I've wanted to go to SEMA.
It's a huge show.
Since I was a little kid, just to go as a spectator.
Yeah.
And being able to partner with Battleborn and get something we built in there for our first time ever going to SEMA is incredible.
So just curious on the batteries, are you guys using the newer Game Changer batteries, or?
We are.
Oh, so you were able to design around that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean helped us out there, and we have 2 GC3s in the rigs. So far, they're incredible. It's like basically a little power plant.
Yeah.
And with 600 watts of solar, you could stay off grid for almost indefinitely.
Yeah. I guess water would be the limiting factor, but yeah, that's easy to get, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all of our questions for you guys, unless there was anything that we might have missed or that you want to add to the conversation.
No, I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
we really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you guys continue to grow as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And when you're ready to make that announcement, let us know, and we'll bring you back on and we can talk about it.
Oh, you mean for what's next?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries. Battleborn batteries are the best name in the RV and marine industry. These batteries are designed to replace your existing lead-acid batteries. They come in a variety of dimensions and amp-hour capacities. This ensures there's a Battleborn battery that is right for your needs. These batteries are backed by a 10-year warranty, allowing you to get out there and stay out there. The best solution for your battery anxiety.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn batteries keep you out there longer.